The Parliament of the Republic of Namibia officially opened today under the theme Enhancing Namibia's Parliamentary Democracy Post-COVID-19. The opening address of this distinctive event was delivered by His Excellency the President, Dr. Hage Geingob, earlier today. It is customary that at the beginning of each year, the Legislature hosts an official opening ceremony. The event brings together all three branches of government under one roof. The three branches are Legislature, the Judiciary and the Executive. To give us more details on today's official opening is the spokesperson of the National Assembly, Rafael Hangula. Good evening, Mr. Hangula, and welcome.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for having me.
Why is the opening of the Parliament considered such an important national event?
Well, the opening of Parliament is basically a ceremonial event where the three branches of government, that is the Executive, Legislature, and Judiciary, come together under one roof to set the tone for the legislative year. It is also basically where the President reflects on the successes and challenges of the previous year. This one is done in accordance with Rule 15 of the Standing Rules and Orders of the National Assembly, which calls for the head of state to officially open Parliament. That is during its first session every year.
All right, so how would Parliament reflect on the challenges and successes of the past year through its deliberations?
Well, the institution has done well so far in terms of lawmaking. This means that all the bills that were brought to Parliament last year have been passed into law. So that means it's now up to the government to enforce all these bills that have now been turned into law. So we are talking about a total of 14 bills that were tabled last year, and all of them were passed. So 9 of them were passed without amendments, and 5 of them were passed with amendments. Also, the House has set for a total of 87 days. That is when the House set, and only out of these days, only 3 days where the National Assembly, for example, did not have any quorum. Also, just to highlight on the issues of the successes that the National Assembly has reached, we have a total of 36 motions that were tabled last year, and then 6 motions were adopted, 15 of them are lapsed, and then only 4 of the motions that were withdrawn. A total of 10 motions were referred to the relevant parliamentary standing committees, and we have got only 1 motion which was rejected. Also, on a total of 158 questions were asked, 85 of those questions were responded to, 29 of the questions lapsed, and also the House has dealt with a total of 70 urgent questions. Let me also add that not only that the Parliament focuses on making laws, but the House or the institution is also there to conduct public hearings before certain laws have been turned or bills have been turned into law. That is to gather public input and other relevant stakeholders to provide some input into legislation. Right. In terms of the challenges, as I've mentioned earlier, we have only 3 days, for example, where the National Assembly did not have any session. But we would like to state that the work of Parliament is there to address the needs of the citizens through passing bills. But however, this is sometimes a challenge because bills do not reach us on time, for example. And on top of that, sometimes we have bills that have been referred to the Standing Committee for consultation, and hence this process sometimes takes time for Parliament to pass certain bills.
Right. So how is the theme enhancing Namibia's parliamentary democracy post-COVID-19 relevant to the year of revival?
Well, first of all, I would like to mention that we have got separation of powers. So we have the executive, we have your cabinet, legislature, and judiciary. As for Parliament, look at the needs of the people and aspiration of the people, as well as what is happening around the world. That's why we came up with a particular theme for this year, which is quite relevant to the work of Parliament. Particularly, we are looking at where we are coming from, for example, the issue of COVID-19, whereby the COVID-19 pandemic has had some profound impact on our nation. And therefore, it is the duty of the representative of the people to put the systems in place and enhance parliamentary oversight, for example. Also, the theme has been chosen for this year because to reflect on the progress that the country has made thus far. Maybe I would also like to add that as Parliament, it is important that the leaders are at the forefront to provide proper legislation, oversight and accountability for the recovery of the national economy and the general improvement of the welfare of the citizens. So that's why I'm saying the theme that has been chosen is relevant to the work of Parliament.
The opening address by the President usually focuses on the achievements of Parliament and upcoming legislations and bills. What are some of the urgent bills set to be tabled?
Well, so far we have received a notice that 12 bills are expected to reach Parliament this year. If I may just quickly run into those bills that we have been notified on. One of them is the Higher Court Amendment Bill, Magistrates Court Amendment Bill, Divorce Bill, Child Justice Bill, Ombudsman Bill, Marriage Bill. The other one is Uniform Matrimonial Property Regime Bill, Civil Registration Bill, Road Bill, Vehicle Mass Bill, Land Bill, as well as Research, Science, Technology, and Innovation Bill. So those are the bills that are expected to be tabled in the National Assembly this year.
The Parliament has been so slow in passing laws. Would we see it self-correcting in this area and pass more laws?
Well, I thought maybe you could quantify in terms of saying we have been slow in passing laws, but I want to state here that the bills that come to Parliament depend on the finalization by the Ministry of Justice. So all these bills that, for example, I have mentioned here are not yet tabled in Parliament, but we just got an indication that these are the possible bills that will be tabled in Parliament this year. So this means that all the bills for discussion in Parliament emanate from the executive branch, which has the constitutional responsibility and mandate to propose laws for the effective administration of the government. So if there are no bills that are coming forth from the executive, neither the National Assembly can initiate legislation unless members themselves make use of Article 60, subsection 2 of the Namibian Constitution, which provides for the introduction of a private bill. So I don't think the House or the institution has really been slow in terms of executing the mandate of passing the bills.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rafael, for giving us more details on today's official opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that was Mr. Rafael Hangula who gave us more details on today's official opening of the Parliament.